Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of Anatomy Adventures. I'm Aditya.
And I'm Ayush. Today we're going to be talking about something truly fascinating, the nervous system.
That's right, Ayush. The nervous system is like the body's super smart communication network. It helps us think, feel, and move by sending messages all over our body.
That sounds awesome, but Aditya, what is it actually made of?
Great question. The nervous system has two main parts, the central nervous system and the peripheral nervous
Oh,
system.
that sounds really fancy, but what's the difference between them?
Well, the central nervous system, or CNS, includes the brain and spinal cord. It's like the control center of your entire body. The peripheral nervous system, or PNS, is made up of all the nerves that branch out from the spinal cord and reach the rest of your body.
Got it. So the CNS is like the boss, and then the PNS is like the worker sending messages everywhere.
Exactly. The brain is the leader of the CNS. It's made up of billions of special cells called neurons. Neurons are like tiny messengers that carry information really fast.
Wow, billions of neurons? That's a lot of tiny messengers. What do they actually do?
Neurons send electrical signals called impulses to different parts of the body. These signals travel through pathways in the nervous system to help us do things like move our arms, feel hot or cold, and even remember things.
So neurons are like small mail carriers sending important messages all the time.
That's a great way to think about it. The nervous system also has something called reflexes. Reflexes help us react quickly without even thinking.
Oh, I've heard that. Like when you touch something really hot and then pull your hand away really fast.
Exactly. That's your nervous system working on autopilot to keep you safe. The spinal cord sends messages to your muscles before your brain even realizes what's happening.
That's so cool. So, Aditya, can you tell us a little bit more about the brain?
Of course, the brain is divided into three main parts: the cerebrum, the cerebellum, and the brainstem.
Three parts. What do they all do?
Well, the cerebrum is the largest part and helps you think, solve problems, and control voluntary movements. It's also where your memory and emotions are stored.
So, the cerebrum helps us with thinking and moving on purpose. What about the cerebellum?
The cerebellum is much smaller, but it's super important because it helps us with balance and coordination. Without it, walking or even standing would be really hard.
Whoa, I never even thought about it like that. And what about the brainstem?
The brainstem connects the brain to the spinal cord. It helps control things and make sure your body automatically does things like breathing, having a heartbeat, and digesting things.
Wow, so while we're talking about moving around and talking, the brainstem is making sure that we're still breathing and our heart is beating? That's crazy.
It sure is. And did you know the brain sends signals through the spinal cord at speeds up to 250 miles per hour?
No way. That's like faster than a lot of cars I can think of.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive, right? And speaking of speed, let's talk about the peripheral nervous system.
Oh yeah, you said it's like made up of all the nerves all over our body. What do those nerves do?
Well, the PNS has two types of nerves, sensory nerves and motor nerves. Sensory nerves send information to your brain from your senses, like when you touch something soft or hear music.
And motor nerves are the ones that help us move, right? Like motor.
Yeah, exactly. Motor nerves send messages from your brain to your muscles, telling them what to do, whether it's jumping, dancing, or even blinking. Motor nerves make it all happen.
That's incredible, but what if our nervous system gets hurt?
Good question. If nerves get damaged, it makes it really hard to move, feel things, or even control different parts of your body. That's why it's important to stay safe and protect your head and spine.
Like wearing a helmet when riding a bike.
Exactly. And eating healthy foods like fish, nuts, and leafy greens help keep your brain strong and sharp.
I'll make sure that to eat a lot of brain foods. Before we go, Ditya, let's do a quick recap.
Great idea. So, basically, basically we learned that the nervous system has two main parts: the central nervous system, or CNS, which includes your brain and spinal cord, and the peripheral nervous system, or PNS, which includes all the nerves in your body.
And then the brain has three parts: the cerebrum, the cerebellum, and the brainstem, all doing different jobs to help us think, move, and essentially stay alive.
Yeah, and don't forget those amazing neurons that sell signals super fast to keep your body working properly.
Like the ones that are faster than the race cars. Anyways,
Exactly.
thanks for listening, everyone. We hope you learned a lot about the nervous system today.
Be sure to join us next time for another exciting episode of Anatomy Adventures.
Until then, stay curious and keep exploring. Bye.